Real Estate Investing Profits presents Profit Masters with your host, world-renowned real estate coach and investor, Corey Boatwright. Now, strap in and get ready to learn elite wealth-building investment strategies taught by 6- and 7-figure house flipping masters as they reveal their best real estate investing profit secrets to you right now.
Kapow! Hey, what's going on? This is Corey Boatwright, founder of Real Estate Investing Profits, and your host on Profit Master podcast series. Now we're at actually one of the #1 rated podcasts in iTunes for real estate investing. How cool is that? Thanks to you and all of your support. So appreciate that. And some of that happens to be because you're texting and you're downloading our real estate investing guide, the Quick Start Guide. And you can get that by texting the word profit at 38470, or you can go to realestateinvestingprofits.com and just download your guide. All right, so the interview I have today is with a good friend of mine. I call him the Ghettologist. Oh yeah, this guy is cleaning up. I mean, he is taking it to the bank in Cleveland, Ohio. And he is doing things that you just probably never thought of. He runs a turnkey business. It's fascinating. You're going to love this interview. He's actually put it together in a way that has allowed him to do over 150 of these turnkey rentals. And I mean, the guy's got a science on how he's put this together to make it extremely profitable. In fact, he's going to break down the entire strategy right on this interview. So I'm pumped for you to check it out. Without any further ado, this is my good buddy, good friend, Mr. Joe Lieber. Joe Lieber, what's up?
How we doing, partner?
How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing great.
The Ghettologist.
The Ghettologist in the house today. Thank you for having me.
Oh man, I'm excited to have you on. I'm excited
to be here.
It's going to be good. So appreciate you taking the time to be on here. Again, you and I met at the Collective Genius Mastermind. A lot of people that I've been interviewing have been a part of the mastermind, and it's fantastic. If you're not familiar with it and you're listening right now, I'll have it in the show notes to make sure you check it out. It's just an incredible real estate mastermind. And Joe is someone that I'm excited about having on here because he does something that's a little different. Sometimes when we're investing in real estate, we're told to stay away from the ghetto. You know, I mean, this is kind of like the red area on the map you're not supposed to go towards. Well, Joe has actually done very well in the ghetto, and I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about that story. But before we get into that, Joe, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody who you are and what your expertise area is in real estate?
Yes, I am Joe Lieber. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, and I am a low-income inner-city housing specialist.
A low-income inner-city housing specialist. I love it.
Yes, sir.
I love it. Okay, so what made you want to be involved in real estate, Joe?
So here's the thing, Corey. You know, I've always had an interest in making money passively. And I knew from just from being a young kid, that reading various books and clippings from newspaper articles, that there were more millionaires because of real estate than any other business out there.
Right.
So at 19 years old, pretty much fresh out of high school, I connected with a friend who had a good job. And we went out there and we attempted to flip a house.
Where was this? What state? Is the same city, same state?
Yeah, this is right here in Cleveland, Ohio.
Gotcha.
And that's pretty much how it all started. And then obviously over the next 17 years, through all the trials and tribulations, I've managed to carve out a pretty nice niche in the low income inner city housing field.
Wow. Okay. So you've been doing it for how long then? How many years?
About 17 years now. I started in 1998.
About 17 years. So before you got involved with real estate, something I like to ask our guest is, was there any kind of breaking point, or was there a point where you said, like, enough's enough, I got to get involved in something else? So was there a moment like that for you in your life?
So here's what happened. So when I graduated high school, I did what every kid generally does, and they go to college.
Right.
So I went to the local university here, but I was there to kind of appease my parents. Really didn't want to be there.
Right.
So I decided I'm going to get a business management degree, a bachelor's degree in business management. It's my third year, and you're starting your 300 level courses in business management. That's what I've been waiting for.
Right.
And there was a particular business management course where the professor said, listen, guys, here's the idea. We're going to get you all set up with this degree so we can get you a job in a large corporation. And hopefully after about 10 or 15 years, you can make middle management and things work out great for you. Right then I knew this is not what I signed up for. And I had to do something else. So that is pretty much the start of, I got to go with this very aggressively, this real estate.
You started to venture out on new frontiers on what this real estate investing thing's all about. I got it.
Okay.
Okay. So let me ask you another question. What was one of your big influences in real estate investing?
I really just wanted financial freedom. I knew that I didn't want to work for money. I wanted to work for assets. And you learn these things from like Trump and Kiyosaki. They talk a lot about that, about working for assets and not working for money. I took it to heart from a young age. And I knew that I need to make a change. You read all the books that the middle class work for money. And, Cleveland's a blue collar town and my folks are middle class. And I just wanted to break out of that and do something a little bit different. And that's why I immediately went to real estate and started buying real estate assets.
I gotcha. Okay.
Sure.
So Trump and Kiyosaki were some of the bigger influences for you?
They were, back then, especially in the late 90s, there weren't a lot of, real estate headliners and all this like there is today.
Right.
So you just kind of migrated to some of the biggest names in the business. And, everyone knew Donald Trump, even back before he had his reality shows. I would follow Donald Trump,
Right. And potentially maybe our president, right?
Right.
He's a fantastic marketer. I'll tell you that. All right.
Sure,
so
sure.
What was the big mistake? It's easy to talk about some of the successes, and I'll give you the platform to talk about your Profit Master investing strategy in just a moment. But before that, what was one of the big mistakes that you've made, or like one of your worst deals, and how did you get through it?
Sure. Well, see, I was over 17 years and getting involved in this as a young kid. You really don't have any money, and there's tons of trials and tribulations you go through. Going through this business. But my single biggest mistake was for the first 12 years, I never had a mentor. I never went to a guru class. I never did any of that. Never had a coach. And that was a huge mistake. It wasn't until
learning by yourself, just kind of self-taught, not really going talking to somebody else about a mentorship.
Right. It was going to the library and getting a book on landlording when you had a limited selection, or talking to an unsuccessful investor at a REIA. And this went on for years and years and years. It wasn't until about 2011 that I decided, you know what, I'm going to reach out and start meeting people from all over the country. And I started getting involved like the Ron LeGrand thing. And then that's how I got introduced to CG, to another CG member that was at a Ron LeGrand course.
Right.
And when I did that, my business just exploded. And it's been phenomenal ever since. So the biggest mistake I made is get a coach, get a mentor, do something. Don't do it the way I did it. Do a Google search and a library book. It's terrible.
You can get there.
And I've been investing in real estate since before Google was even around. So
you can get there eventually, but like it takes up a lot of time, right?
It just takes so many times. I 10 plus years there of just kind of just going through the motions. And I did good. I built a great business before that, but it could have been a lot easier. I could have taken the elevator when I chose to take the stairs. And I recommend pushing the button of the elevator.
That's a great analogy. Great analogy.
Thank you.
There's no like a shortcut to success. I've heard that said many times, but I argue it a little bit, because I do think that one way that you can take several steps forward and miss a lot of holes and potholes and things like that, metaphorically speaking, is by having a coach. And, you can just get so much further quicker All the most successful athletes in the world, they all have coaches. All the most successful businessmen in the world and women, they all have coaches and mentors. And they even have mentors for specific areas in their life, for education, for for health and fitness, for even personal management. Coaches for coaches, basically.
Completely agree. I just heard Robert Kiyosaki talking about this on a podcast. He has 5 coaches, one for almost every aspect of life. And you can see the man's successful, and that's one of the reasons why. So
right.
Yeah, big fan of that.
Big fan. Okay, so what is one of your profit master investing strategies? This is where you can share something that's working extremely well in your business there in Cleveland, and what's making you a lot of dough by doing this.
Okay, so I'm huge on passive income.
Right.
I love when money just comes every month. Once I set it up, I don't have to work that hard to do. So I am a buy and hold real estate investor. The Midwest, Cleveland, Ohio, I'm being told by investors all over the country, could be one of the hottest real estate markets in the country for
right.
buy and hold real estate investors.
Right.
So here's what I buy here. There's 2 models I have. I have a Section 8 model.
Okay.
And then I have a rent work for equity model. So let me give you an example. I will buy a 3-bedroom colonial, 1,100 square feet here in Cleveland.
Okay.
For about $30,000.
Wow. Okay.
This home is 1,100 square feet, a living room, dining room, 3 bedrooms on the second floor.
Now, does it need any repairs, or is it ready to go?
30,000 is pretty much rent ready.
Rent ready. Okay.
Pretty much. Here's what I will do though. I'll take the attic. I will cut a center hallway in, put a bedroom in the front, a bedroom in the back. Now I have a 5-bedroom home.
Wow.
So I will then call Section 8, and because it's a 5-bedroom home, they pay very well. Around $925 a month you're going to get for a property like that. Mm-hmm. So I can be in for $35,000, we'll say, and I'll have a $922 ticket on this house, which is just wild. I don't know anywhere else where I can spend, I'll even say $35,000 to $40,000 in case I want to put a roof on or even do some windows or something.
Right.
And have a $40,000 investment rehab where I'm going to bring $925 a month. So it's phenomenal. I think the cash on cash is unbelievable. I do a lot of that.
That is. And do I have the right to kind of talk about how many that you have right now that you're dealing with?
Of course.
You're a little over 100 now, aren't you?
I'm in the 150 range.
150 range. Wow. That's impressive, Joe. And, most people wouldn't have the insight to be able to do that. I'm just curious, where'd you get that idea to be able to carve up that attic like that? And what if they, some houses obviously don't have the attic the same way. What do you do with those houses?
Well, of course, there's an accident, you didn't mean to do it. And this great thing comes out of it. And I was at a house at one point, and I had the home just like that 3-bedroom colonial ready to go. And the inspector came in and said, okay, Joe, you're approving this 3-bedroom home at $725 per month. And I was happy. I was like, this is great. At that point, I might have paid $20,000 for a house a few years ago, and I was happy.
Right.
And he had mentioned to me, he goes, I've seen other investors finish the attics. And it really increased the rent that people
light
pay.
bulb just went off inside.
Ding, 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 ding.
Massive light bulb went off above your head.
So that's how I stumbled upon, wow. Every time I go to a house now, I think, how can I add more bedrooms? How can I add more bedrooms? So it's a great strategy. But I want to tell you another strategy that works very, very well. I buy a lot of homes in I'll say the 25 to 35,000 price points.
Okay.
And there's a huge need for this. A lot of people want to become homeowners, but they're not ready. And we all know reasons why they're not ready. And what I will do for these folks is I'll buy a home directly from the bank at that 25 to 35 price point. I'll go in, I'll turn on the heat, the water, and the lights, and then sell it to them on a rent to own. I'll use a lease option instrument.
Okay.
And I get minimal amount of money down. So let me give you some numbers. For example, I'll get around $1,500 down,
okay,
$750 a month in rent, and I'll give them the house as is. And then they go in and they do the painting and the cleaning. And what I'm trying to do, Corey, is I'm trying to vest the tenant to the property.
Right.
It helps me get my
They
rent.
feel like they own the property. They're not a renter now. They feel like they're actually owning the property.
There's only two ways to get somebody vested to a property, either through a large down payment or blood, sweat, and tears.
And this is lease to own, right? This is lease with option to purchase.
Correct.
Okay. And so your option agreement is what your $1,500 is. So they sign that for your $1,500 option, and then $750 a month, which is essentially 2 months you basically get 2 months of money up front. And then you don't have to worry about anything, anything like that. You have that all inside the lease the lease agreement. And then you have the water, the heat, water, and light. That's what you turn on, and that's kind of what you maintain, your responsibility. That's the way that you position it.
I get them going. I don't want to have them come into a house where there's no copper in it and they're responsible for plumbing it. I try to, give them a start. So I will do that. I will ensure the water turns on. I will ensure the heat turns on.
Right.
I will ensure lights turn on. But after that, all the cosmetic stuff, they're responsible for. Now, when I do that initial acquisition, if there's a really bad roof, I'm going to do that.
You want to go ahead and pay for the roof.
I'll pay for the roof. If there's major CapEx, I'm going to do it.
Right.
But all the cosmetic stuff, the ripped vinyl floor and the bad carpet and the paint, that's all on them.
What about AC? Most of these have window ACs or central?
We don't have AC really here in Cleveland. It's cold in July, first of all. I have actually worn a coat in July. I have.
You don't have AC in Cleveland. I got it.
It's not something that is a necessity here in Cleveland.
I see.
We'll see people sometimes get window units, but I would have to say 70% of my tenants don't have any type of conditioning system.
You're kidding me. 70% don't have any form of AC, not even a window unit?
Some, the other 30% will just have a window unit in their bedroom. But other than that, no, it just...
That's a big expense. That is a massive expense you're saving on those homes.
Yes.
That is beautiful, Joe. That's good. That's good. Well, what's one piece of advice that you would share about running a successful real estate business?
Persistence. Yeah, stay on it. Be persistent. Have passion for it. If you don't have, if you're getting into real estate just to make money, you can do that. It will work. But when the passion collides with it, it's so much more enjoyable and so much more lucrative when you can put passion involved. So
that's true. Persistence and passion, the two P's.
Yes, the two P's.
So if you had to start all over again, would you do things differently? How would you change things?
Of course. I look back and think, especially such a young kid in this business. And I'm going to bring it back to the coach, the mentor.
Right.
That's my biggest thing. I really wish out of the gate I would have had somebody to really guide me. I did have people I followed, but they weren't the most successful. So I would go out there now and I would get a super successful mentor. Now, I want to add something to this because I know what some of these listeners are thinking. They're thinking, well, I can't afford to spend $5,000 or $10,000 on a coach or mentor.
Right.
And I'm going to give you a great tip. I've been a licensed real estate professional since the late 90s. And I can tell you this is a great tip. If you're trying to break into this business and you don't have a whole lot of money, get your real estate license. Go to work for one of the larger real estate brokerages, the RE/MAXes, the Coldwell Bankers. Mm-hmm. They have phenomenal training. That's free. They're more than happy to send you to any class you want to go for free.
Right.
So I think it's a great tip. If you want to break into the business and you don't have a whole lot of money, get a real estate license. It's a quick, easy barrier to entry. It'll put you around other like-minded people, hang out at your brokerage offices, and go to all the awesome classes they have. And these brokerages like RE/MAX, they offer real estate investment courses too. So a great way to go for free.
That is great. Yeah, become an agent. And many investors aren't agents. I'm not an agent, and I had before I had I have a person now on my team that's an agent. But I think it's important. I think it's important to have that access, obviously, to the MLS and also the training. Though you bringing them back to that side of it. Keller Williams, Coldwell Bank. I mean, there's a lot of RE/MAX. They have phenomenal programs, and it just benefits their agents to be able to be better trained so they sell more houses for them.
Yep, for sure. And you can learn a ton, and it's a great way to break into the real estate business at a cheap cost.
That's true. That's true. What's a favorite motivational or business quote that you have, Joe?
All right. So I've got a good one. This came from a buddy. It's not a book or anything, but it just really hits home to me.
Okay.
Because sometimes in real estate, we're ups and downs, and he said to me, he goes, Joe, like, what are you upset about today? Every day is going to be a struggle. And the faster you realize that, the more successful you will become.
Wow. So every day is going to be a struggle. The faster that you realize that, the more successful that you'll become.
For sure.
That's great.
I love that.
I will put that. I'll make sure that's in the show notes. That's great. Love it. Love it. I don't think I've ever heard it. I never heard that either. That's great, man.
Good.
What books do you recommend, or one has changed your life particularly?
All right. It's a little old school, but I love Rich Dad Poor Dad. Every time I go back to read that Rich Dad Poor Dad, I remember Kiyosaki, I just think it's great. It's like enlightening. I'm like, yes, that's why I do what I do. Yes, that's right. This all makes sense now.
Right. You know, it's a great book. There's a whole series of those books. Have you read just the Rich Dad Poor Dad one? Have you read all the other ones?
I've read all the other ones.
Okay. Cash flow quadrant and all that. Yes.
It keeps drawing me back. I think there are things in there, and just reminds me of why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I feel like, yeah, you are doing the right thing. Keep pushing, buddy.
Your audio's breaking up a little bit, but we're getting just enough that the content's great. So I think that's all that people are really concerned about is your content you're giving is just fantastic, Joe. So thanks for that. What's a mobile app that you use every day?
The best one, Corey, US Bank.
US Bank.
US Bank. Let me tell you why. I have a direct deposit system with my tenants. They can go in and pay their rent at any US bank in the country. All they do is grab a deposit ticket, write their name on it, and make a deposit. And I'll know anything they got, who they are, who made a deposit.
So is there a service that you pay for at US Bank for automatic deposits?
No, let me say automatic deposit. Let me refrain a little bit here. The tenant has to go into the bank to deposit. But they write their name on these deposit tickets, and as soon as they make a deposit, it will microfiche and it will show me the deposit and who made it instantly. And I must look at that mobile app 5 times a day. It's really cool. It's like people are filling my bank account up.
I love it, man. That's motivation in itself.
It's motivation.
Cha-ching. You got do you have a notifier on there that comes up that notifies you got another deposit?
Yeah, I wish they don't have that, but they need to have that. That would be so cool. Because when we're done here, I'm going to go log in and see if anybody paid me any money.
You make any money while you're on the interview today?
Yeah, it's so cool. And there will be. I guarantee you, with the amount of property I have in my portfolio, yes, somebody paid rent during this podcast. And it's really cool, man. So I use that constantly. I'm addicted to US Bank mobile app.
Great, US Bank. Okay, so what's your morning routine? Do you have one, Joe?
Okay, so here's the thing. I don't have an alarm clock. I refuse to wake up to an alarm clock.
No alarm clock whatsoever?
No, I do not have one. I used to just wake up whenever I woke up, but now my kids will wake me up. So that's my actual alarm clock. And then in the morning, what I'll do is I hang out with them, and then I take them to and from preschool.
Like what time? What time? What time in the morning?
All right, so we're up at like 8:30.
Okay.
And then we're doing breakfast and playing around till like 9:30. My mother-in-law will come about 10 o'clock, and then I'll make some calls. I will. I always have my phone with me, so I'm making calls. I might run up to my office, only 8 minutes away. And then I'll come back at like 11:45 and take them to preschool at noon. And then I'll come back to the office from like noon till pick them up at 3 o'clock. And then I pick them up, take them back home. And then she'll my mother-in-law will feed the kids. I might come back to the office for another hour, and then that's it. And then that's a day for me. So it's awesome. And I wouldn't trade that. I want to enjoy every moment. And that's why I got into real estate, because I want the freedom to be able to enjoy this time of my life. My kids are going to be so small for so long. I want to be there for every moment.
What's a great lesson that you've learned to help you get to where you are today?
A great lesson. It's a great question. Persistence. It goes back to that. You know how many times I wanted to give up? My wife, I want to show you this. It's right behind me. I don't think you can see it. Where is it? Right there, right there, right there. I'm going to get up, Corey.
What is it?
I got to show it to you. It's in my bookshelf. I'm coming back.
Okay.
Right there. Can you see that?
What? Put it up there. Never, 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 never give up. I love it.
Because, like, when you're going through these things sometimes, I mean, we can all get frustrated and things of that. So the lessons I learned is keep pushing. And then, I hate to use the word saturated, but I made it to a point where I'm happy at this point. I can do what I want to do every day. I have passive cash flow income that's coming in, and that's not going to change. So, I mean, never giving up and throwing my hands up and walking out of here. Here we are today.
Incredible, man. What are you most grateful for?
My family.
Wow, my family. You knew that right away.
Right away. Beautiful children. I just love being with them, and I'm at a great point in my life right now. So I did know that right away. I'm here for my family, for sure.
What point would you recommend hiring a coach, and how important do you think that, let's say that it would have been to your success? Now that you've got some coaching, but it was a little later in life, what would you recommend to someone that was involved in real estate, maybe just getting started, when they should hire a coach?
Here, I think you're going to need a coach day one. So, like, I'll give you an example. Like, everyone enters the business through wholesaling. It's one of the easiest barriers to entry. But I've seen new wholesalers, they get these deals, they don't know what to do with them. They don't know what contract to use. They don't know how to do the closing properly. They don't have the relationship with title companies. I think you have to have a coach or mentor day one to help you and say, don't say that, say this. How do I analyze this deal? How should I, should I take this one down? Should I let it go? Is the seller going to be mad at me? What do I say to the sellers? You have to have someone right over your shoulder coaching you through that. I think, at least. And I would get a coach or mentor day one.
And you can get there without a coach. Obviously, many people have, but you
Sure.
just hit usually so many pitfalls. And I know you learn things whenever you fall down. I know you learn to get back up again, like Batman says. But at the end of the day, you can avoid so many expensive pitfalls that are just unnecessary once you work with a coach, and you don't get into these situations where you're in hot water and it's because you didn't know what to do and you just made a decision. It can be expensive, and much more expensive many times than working with a coach.
Completely agree. I've always found the coaches pay for themselves. I know they're expensive, but it's not. It's like, can you afford not to get a coach? It's kind of a funny thing to say, but it's true. I've always found that. I've been blown away by the coach's value, if you get the right one, of course. And there's some good ones.
If you had to summarize it, Joe, why do you do what you do? Not the what, but why do you do this business?
Freedom, and it's damn fun.
Freedom and fun. I love it. The two
Yes.
F's. You got the two P's, persistence and passion, and now you got the two F's, freedom and fun.
Yes. That is why. Sure.
That's great. Well, thanks for taking the time to be on here. I know you've got some things you got to do. Check your bank, U.S. Bank app.
Yes.
But how can our listeners help you? What's the best way to get in touch with you, Joe? What do you need right now? How can we serve you? I'm starting
to work with people who want to come up here to Cleveland and buy property.
Okay.
From turnkey to whole key, as I call it, almost, where I'm kind of letting people come in and buy at these floor prices, and I'm not turnkeying the properties out at $65,000 and $75,000. I'm just kind of working with people who want to be here. If you have any interest in that, yeah, I'm around. And the best way to reach me, my office line, area code 440-387-4800. I'm extension 2. I have an email at rebroker216@gmail.com. And then, of course, I'm on the web like everybody at clevelandinvestor.com.
clevelandinvestor.com. And
really cool video there too. LeBron's dunking balls and all kinds of cool stuff. So check it out.
That's cool. And so, can you repeat your email address one more time?
Sure thing. It's rebroker216@gmail.com.
At gmail.com. Okay. Okay, Joe. And can you kind of just for a 10,000 foot view, what are you looking for that person that comes to want to talk with you on where do they need to be, ideally for you and them to start working together?
Well, looking for people who have cash. It's hard to finance these homes because they're so cheap, and
right.
the equity condition on some of them kind of dilapidated, so it's hard to procure financing. So for people who have passive real estate investments. And if you want to do that and get in some of these cheap houses, I'm definitely the best point man in Cleveland. So
they come to you, they give you some cash, you find deals for them, you bump it up a little bit to make some money on the top from you selling the property over to them, and then do you manage it from there for them too?
We have a great management company here in Cleveland that's been phenomenal. So what we're doing is people fly in and we just drive around, look at property for a few days. We look at a lot of REO.
Okay.
If it is REO, then I charge a small consulting fee to do the acquisition. Okay. And the light rehabbing. I handle it all the way through. I get a tenant placed for you, then I pass it off to the RE/MAX property management company, and away you go. And then I'm always here, of course.
How much money does that person need to be liquid, just ideally for to work with you?
You can do one deal at $30,000 to $40,000. So you can theoretically do one deal, and I would say $30,000 to $40,000 cash would get you that property.
So even at $30,000, even though there's enough room in there for you to profit and all those other things.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
that's great. Okay. Well, yeah. Good. So they don't have to have $100,000. They just have $30,000. Start your first deal. And is that kind of a deal at $30,000 where you can get it where it's renting out at $800 or $900 a month?
I think to get the 900 more closer to 40,000.
Gotcha.
But if you want to get into the work for equity program, we're not doing a whole lot of repairs. Yeah, $30,000 to get you squared away for sure.
Gotcha. That makes a lot more sense. Okay. Yeah. Well, thanks for taking the time to be on there. Great. I know the audio is cutting in and out, but man, great content. I will have everything in the transcription of this. Make sure that we get it as best we can to transcribe, but all the links and all the resources we talked about will be in the show notes. Joe, I appreciate you taking the time. It's an incredible business that you built up in the ghetto. Yeah. And you're what was it? You're a specialist. What was it? A
low income inner city housing. Low income inner city housing specialist.
Low income inner city housing specialist.
That's right, buddy.
I like Ghettologist a lot better.
Me too.
All right. So I'll take care, Joe. Appreciate you. Remember, be a servant. Make sure you're on our next Profit Master podcast. See you, Joe.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to another Real Estate Investing Profits Master podcast series. To receive your free real estate book, Down and Dirty, Ultimate Real Estate Investing Quick Start Guide, how to quit your job to start flipping houses in 90 days or less, head online and go to realestateinvestingprofits.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Real Estate Investing Profits. Thanks again for listening and stay tuned for our next episode.